everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brianna. I am a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. Today, we've got a fun video on tap. I am going to be potentially debunking myself on something that I say very frequently on my channel. Wear shoes while you work out. If you're an avid viewer here, you've likely seen my personal trainer reacts to Beachbody coaches workouts video. There's quite a bingeable playlist on my channel. I will link it. Try to link it. I'm not very tech savvy, but I'll link a couple videos below, and then that'll help to get you started. A common theme in those videos, aside from the dangerous and sometimes just stupid workouts, is people frequently doing high impact and high risk exercises without shoes on. And you guys know how much it grinds my gears. However, I've been getting more and more comments of people saying things like, well, I don't wear shoes when I work out, and I work out barefoot all the time. I didn't know it was that bad. And they've gotten the gears turning in my little brain. If enough people are disagreeing on a point that I make frequently, then maybe it's me that needs to do more research, realign my way of thinking, and potentially even debunk myself. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some lulz along the way, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. All right, guys, without further ado, let's jump in. Wearing shoes. First and foremost, do not be alarmed. This crazy doodad right here on my ear is an earring. It's an earring. It's going through here and it loops up here. I don't know. It's different. I succumbed to Instagram ads. Do you guys like it? Please validate me. Please make me feel good about my impulse buy. I'll link the website where I got it below if anybody's interested in this crazy looking earring doodad right here. Anyway, so like I said in my intro, I've been seeing a lot more comments. Working out barefoot is not that bad kind of thing. And when I say a lot, I really just mean like 1 to 3 comments on each of my videos. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider that I have like of those CPT reacts videos on my channel, it kind of adds up. It adds up, and it's kind of starting to indicate a trend. Most of the time, people are super nice. Then there's other times where people are just like snarky and rude, like I insulted their mother. One of my favorite rude/stupid comments was, I'll try and find it and put it up on the screen. I'll have to go through a few videos though. I probably won't put it up on the screen. It was like, haven't you ever seen Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? They don't wear shoes. Which, is a stupid comparison, my guy. First of all, yes, I've seen Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot, actually. My husband just got awarded his blue belt. I've been to a competition and I've seen many of his practices. So, yeah, I've seen like a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. BJJ is not a standard workout that we talk about on my channel here. It's like 95% rolling on the floor. Plus, you're not using any equipment that poses a risk of you like dropping a dumbbell on your foot or something. So if you're the person who made that comment and you're watching this video, so when people ask me why I'm always harping on the shoe thing, these are some of the bullet points as to why. I typically specify that it depends on the type of workout. For high impact, jumping around, plyometric type workouts, you want to wear shoes to support your feet and so that they can help absorb some of the impact of you jumping all over the place, especially if you are of heavier weight. Secondly, if you're doing a weighted workout, whatever kind of weights, whether that be dumbbells or weight plates or whatever, wearing shoes will protect your feet if you drop a weight on your foot, which I have done before, and it does not feel like great. But I was wearing shoes, so because of that, I walked away with just a bruise. It was only a 5-pound weight plate, but that hurt, man. And third, if you have foot/ankle issues, going barefoot during like a super high impact workout can exacerbate the problems that you have. I've also added before that you might often see people like squatting and deadlifting in the gym without shoes on, which is not the same thing as doing like burpees or tuck jumps barefoot. People in the gym who are squatting and deadlifting barefoot are doing so because being barefoot kind of helps you. I'm gonna try and word this so I don't sound like a crazy person, but being barefoot during exercises like that kind of helps you almost kind of ground you and kind of helps you kind of dig into the ground, if that makes sense. I just super oversimplified that. Squats and deadlift are also not high impact dynamic movements. When you're squatting, your feet are staying on the floor. And then also stuff like yoga, Pilates, bar, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that stuff is generally done barefoot. Let's now talk about some of the science and what the research says and some of the pros and cons of barefoot training. I'll be honest, I couldn't figure out who like the person to talk to would be for something like this. I've said before in comments, maybe a podiatrist or a physical therapist, but then I thought, well, we're talking specifically about exercise, so maybe like a strength or conditioning specialist, a corrective exercise specialist, a personal trainer. I don't know. So I figured I would kind of try and spread my research and dip my toes in as many of these pools as possible and just kind of see what we come up with. So let's start with somebody who specializes in feet stuff. A podiatrist. So someone actually told me about this one. I was going back and forth with somebody in my comments who was disagreeing with me, and this person actually brought up this podiatrist, Dr. Emily Splichal. Splichal? I'll call her Dr. Emily. So Dr. Emily is a podiatrist and a human movement specialist, and she also has a podcast. A lot of Dr. Emily's work is centered around barefoot training, which is good because it's relevant to what we're talking about today. But because of that, I kind of had to narrow down like which thing that I wanted to choose from her. And by that, I mean like, which of these 500 articles should I pick? So I settled on one that I found on builtlean.com titled Barefoot Training Benefits and Risks with Dr. Emily S. I'm sorry, Dr. Emily, I cannot say her last name. So in the beginning, she just kind of goes into detail about her background and interest in podiatry. She has over 11 years experience in this field. She regularly conducts barefoot training research, and she's even developed a barefoot training specialist for fitness professionals, which is pretty cool. I do not have that certification, just FYI. And then she talks a little bit about those fancy ergonomic shoes. I call them toe shoes. Is that what everybody else calls them? I don't know if that's what they're called, but that's what I call them. It's a pretty long article, and she kind of goes all over the place. With all these articles and stuff that we're going to talk about today, I kind of just pulled out bullet points that I found relevant. So here are a couple quotes and bullet points that she talks about that I thought were pertinent. Quote, because the human body is interconnected, any imbalance in the foot must impact the lower leg, which travels to the hip and pelvis and then continues to the thoracic spine and shoulder, end quote. Now, I thought that one was relevant because it kind of piggybacked a little bit on what I was saying before about my reasons for not barefoot training for specific exercises anyway. Your body is a kinetic chain, and it like starts from, as she said, it starts from the bottom, and then like issues sort of can slowly work their way up through muscular imbalances and things like that. If you have something wrong with your like foot or ankle already and you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff that's making it worse, it can eventually over time work its way up and start to affect your knees and then your hips and then your back and then and so on and so forth. So it's almost like a chain reaction. Next piece in the article. Quote, Dr. S does not recommend barefoot running as a foot strengthening exercise, but also recommends incorporating barefoot training and foot strengthening techniques for both beginner and advanced barefoot runners, end quote. Barefoot running is brought up in another thing we're going to talk about, but it seems like a lot of podiatrists don't love barefoot running. A lot of injuries they see come from barefoot running, so I guess if you want to dive into it, we're going to talk about this later. If you want to dive into it, a trend that I see them say is just start slow because you can really hurt yourself if you're not experienced with it. And then she also talks about some of the most common injuries she sees in the feet, which are usually from overuse, and those are stress fractures, plantar fasciitis, and tendinitis. The reason I said those is because we're going to hear about those exact same three conditions later on. I actually did not love this article, and you guys are going to be like, well, why'd you even bring it up? But the reason I don't like it is I don't think it's Dr. Emily's fault. I personally think that the interviewer did not ask very good questions. The article is titled Barefoot Training Benefits and Risks. And because of the questions she was asked, she just kind of talked about the science of barefoot training. I don't feel like she went into detail about any benefits or risks of barefoot training. I still wanted to feature the article and give it a read though, because again, I felt like it was valuable. Again, I don't think this was her fault. That interviewer, I don't think they asked her good questions. That's just my opinion. All right, so let's move on. The next article I found was a piece on livestrong.com by Crystal Fenton, and it was reviewed by Aubrey Bailey, who is a certified personal trainer, a doctor of physical therapy, and she teaches anatomy and physiology. The article is titled, Is It Okay to Exercise Barefoot? This is a shorter article. I think this article does a better job at actually talking about like the benefits and risks. To summarize some bits of the article, depending on the exercise, going barefoot can actually strengthen your feet, enhance your stability, and improve your proprioception. Proprioception is basically your body's ability to sense like its position. They also go on to say that there's benefits of going barefoot to certain exercises like yoga and Pilates, which again are generally done barefoot anyway. To quote the article, quote, barefoot exercises and stretches done during activities such as yoga, Pilates, bar, Zumba, and dance classes can improve the flexibility of and strengthen the muscles in your feet and ankles, end quote. I wasn't surprised to see yoga, Pilates, and bar as barefoot, as going traditionally barefoot, because those are usually barefoot. However, I thought Zumba was traditionally done with shoes on. If anyone here does Zumba regularly, let me know. But Zumba is like pretty like high impact, jumping around. Side note, I have done Zumba before. I did it like on one of those exercise DVDs. I actually did it at home barefoot, and my feet and ankles were very, very sore for like the following week. I don't know if that's good or bad. Anyway, they go on to say, quote, these barefoot activities also help improve stability in the ligaments that support your ankles and feet, end quote. That's something that I've never thought of, but it's actually probably quite accurate. The article finished out with, quote, while going barefoot is the standard for certain exercises such as water sports, dance, yoga, bar, and Pilates, other activities, including weightlifting and cross-training in a group fitness setting, are better suited to the protection and stability offered by wearing a sneaker, end quote. That's something that I frequently say. Like, yeah, again, yoga, Pilates, bar, water sports. I hope you're barefoot for water sports. Don't wear shoes in the pool. Ew. That stuff's traditionally done barefoot for a reason. They said if you're cross-training weightlifting in a group fitness setting, wearing shoes is best. All right, so that's it for that one. And remember, that was an article on livestrong.com. All these, everything we talk about, all sources we talk about, by the way, are going to be linked below. I always link stuff below. Okay, so next, the article now that we're going to take a look at it is actually on self.com, and it is by Alicia Fetters, who is a certified strength and conditioning coach. Also want to add, because there's probably going to be somebody who says this in the comments, you guys know I usually try to look for articles from like a reputable source. And when I say that, it's usually like a .org or something like that. I had a difficult time like finding actual studies. So what I did instead, so yes, self.com and livestrong.com aren't like scientific journals. But if I was going to find articles on these websites reviewed by professionals relevant to this topic, first of all, and then the people who were consulted with for the articles were professionals themselves. If somebody's comment or already commented and be like, these aren't very scientific publications. Yeah, I know Self is not a very scientific publication. But for this Self article, I personally think that this article did a fantastic job at consulting with professionals on this topic. They talked to a sports medicine doctor, a kinesiologist, and a podiatrist to get all of their takes on barefoot training on certain exercises. And I thought that was an excellent range of professionals to talk to about something like this. This is kind of a longish article. So again, I'm going to try and pull out bullet points and quote the article in some places that I found to be relevant. If you want to see for yourself, again, it'll be linked below. So some of the podiatrists started off by discussing some of the reasons why they hated shoes, and why wearing shoes all the time is not actually great for your feet. Podiatrist Dr. Gennady Koladenker. Oh my goodness. I'm going to call you Dr. K. Dr. K basically says that wearing shoes all day, every day, basically starts to eventually give your feet a break of the amount of work that they are supposed to be doing at supporting your body. Shoes basically reduce the amount of work the muscles and connective tissue in your feet have to do to stabilize your body. So in a way, and this last bit is me paraphrasing, in a way, wearing shoes makes your feet lazy, which is kind of a crazy statement. The problem with this, according to kinesiologist, medical exercise specialist, and certified strength and conditioning coach, Dean Somerset, is basically that since your feet are designed to function as the foundation for your body, when you don't use them as much, they kind of get bad at doing their job. And he goes on to say that wearing shoes too much can actually weaken your feet and make them more susceptible to injuries over time. Dr. Jordan Metzel, who is a doctor of sports medicine, adds, quote, You can reduce your risk of so many exercise-related injuries simply by integrating some barefoot work into your exercise routine and training the muscles not just in your arms, legs, and core, but also in your feet, end quote. And then they go on to talk a little bit about barefoot squatting, which is something that I brought up before and something that I bring up often when I'm talking about, like wearing shoes and not wearing shoes when you're training. A lot of lifters do this. If you're a regular gym goer, you'll go in the gym and you see a lot of more experienced lifters take off their shoes during squats or deadlifts. However, this article actually said the evidence that squatting barefoot is wholly beneficial is actually quite limited. While the experts actually discussed some benefits, they brought up a study conducted at East Tennessee University, in which the study found that, quote, when squatting barefoot, lifters activate some leg muscles to a greater degree than when they squat with shoes. However, this was only during the exercise's lowering phase. They didn't activate any extra muscle fibers when rising up out of each squat, end quote. I'm gonna be honest, this information really surprised me. I've squatted with shoes before once just to try it, and I didn't really feel like it made a big difference, so that's why I don't do it anymore. But like I said before, barefoot squatting and deadlifting is something that a lot of lifters do. But reading about this surprised me because this information challenged that common thing. Dean Somerset, remember him? And he actually finished off that section by saying, quote, one way isn't necessarily any better than the other. They are just different. And the greatest changes in your body come when you stress each muscle in a variety of ways, end quote. So, I don't know. Squat with shoes, squat barefoot. Either way, I guess just kiss your mom goodnight and drink water. So finally, Dr. K talks about some of the cons of barefoot training. And he actually brings up that the biggest danger is barefoot running. He says when people jump into barefoot running too fast, he sees injuries like stress fractures, plantar fasciitis, and Achilles tendonitis. Remember all three of those injuries that we just talked about before? Dr. Emily brought those up. By the way, Achilles tendonitis, that's actually what I have. I have it in both of my heels. In running, I cannot imagine running barefoot. Running really pisses off my Achilles. I started doing sprints more in the gym, just to challenge myself on the treadmill. And that is fine. But if I run and I do not stretch, I could pay for it for weeks. My Achilles tendon, my heels will be sore for weeks to follow. So if I do sprints, I have to stretch. It's non-negotiable. He actually says about barefoot running, quote, one of the worst things you can possibly do, end quote, if you have existing Achilles tendonitis. Well, noted, Dr. K. Dr. K also brought up the risk of dropping a weight on your foot if you're weightlifting barefoot. Just FYI. And the article ended with, if you want to try barefoot training, just start slow and listen to your body. Alright guys, I feel like this video is getting long, but I have one more piece of valuable information that I just want to add to it. Just stick with me, we're almost done. We won't go through the whole article, but it is an article on popsugar.com. I know guys, I know, but just hear me out. They consulted with a professional. We're about to hear from another certified strength and conditioning coach on this one. His name is Trevor Theme. This is an article basically about should you barefoot for at-home workouts? Trevor Theme basically says whether or not you should work out barefoot at home basically depends on the kind of workout you're doing. And he also adds how much experience you have with barefoot training. Article says exercises like yoga and Pilates are typically done barefoot. Duh. With these exercises, Theme says that you should, quote, almost always ditch your shoes to optimize the sensory feedback you get from your feet, end quote. Yes, we already knew this. I hate the thought of doing yoga with shoes on. Plus, yoga is, again, not a dynamic workout. You're not jumping around and doing burpees and tuck jumps and stuff like that in yoga class. Mr. Theme also added later in the article that lifting barefoot can enhance your proprioception. Remember, we talked about that a few minutes ago. He said if you want to try barefoot training, just start slow with maybe one or two exercises with no shoes on. He also adds that when it comes to cardio and HIIT workouts, HIIT, high intensity interval training workouts, you have to consider safety. The article says, quote, when your workout is packed with plyometrics or jumping moves, Theme recommends keeping shoes on to minimize the impact, end quote. That's something that I say all the time as an argument for why you should be wearing shoes. Yes, please, if you're doing a lot of super high impact stuff, please put shoes on. This is not the first time we're hearing this today. And I hear this from other professionals as well. Wearing shoes doing high impact exercises can lessen the impact your feet have to take. and they just offer more support and protection for your feet. In conclusion, so this video got a little bit longer than I expected it to. I fell into a rabbit hole of feet. A foot rabbit hole. A foothole, if you will. Is it okay to work out barefoot? The answer that I gather is, drum roll, it depends on what you are doing, and also, it looks like to me, who you ask. Personally, I did not find information that has heavily swayed me away from my positions on being pro shoes during workouts. I still hold my position. Wear shoes during high impact exercise to support and protect your feet, and doing minimal to no impact exercises like yoga or Pilates barefoot is totally normal and generally the standard. Where my position has been swayed, however, is doing lightweight lifting barefoot workouts. Just please don't drop a weight on your foot. So I learned a lot, and I'm quite pleased with the outcome of this video and the amount of research I did. I actually think I went a little bit too deep in the foothole, but I don't know. I think it was valuable. Thank you very much for sitting through that, if in fact you did. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you're probably tired of seeing my dumb face now, and you probably want to see the dogs. Don't worry, I'll deliver. But first, you subscribe, okay? Just do it now, please. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey, Zeus. Hey, Zeus, what's up? What's up? Hey, what are you doing down there? You just being cute? Oh, what a big stretch. He's gonna jump up. Yep. Can you say bye? Thank you. Can you say bye? Can you say bye though? You wanna say bye? Oh, now you're getting down. Probably just wanna go outside. They've been sitting in here forever. Can you guys sit next to each other and be all cute? Like cute little brothers? Oh, big stretches. In a recent video, somebody was very upset about the not long enough puppy interaction time, so I'm trying to like, oh, he's about to do it. He's about to do it. I call that the pit split. And I don't know about you guys, but I only ever see pit bull and like pit bull type breed dogs do this like split thing. Onyx does not do it. Onyx is a lab pit mix. Zeus is a full pit, and Alpha is a bully. So she is like pit bulldog something. So she's got some pit, and she does the pit split. Onyx doesn't do the pit split. Zeus does the pit split. You show people how flexible you are. Oh hey. What's up? Were you about to roll on your back? Back on my lap, really? Okay. Back up here. Wee, what are you doing? Hey baby. Hi my baby. Onyx is just like, oh my god, Mom, you are so embarrassing right now. Alright, guys. No, don't lick my toes. Say bye. What was that? What was that? Outside? Let's go outside.